We need our weed. I don't wear it, but we need it.
We are absolutely winning right now. Absolutely. We have done more than change the conversation. We changed the balance of power in the federal government.
My show had value, and that, I'm sorry, that what I was doing had value.
was blind, still we're often told, seeking you shall find. There's a saying, oh,
I guess it's time we can start this thing up.
still we're often told,
Shout out to the gang out there. Appreciate everybody showing up for your boy. Real quick, before we even get deep into the show, big thank you to some early supporters out there. Carmen, sweetheart, oh, thank you so much, love. With the $5 chat, the Rumble chat, she says, long day. Still got to knock out a bunch of work. When I've been sitting here saying, go live to you in my head, is that manifesting? Carmen, you know why you were reaching out to me so vociferously in your psyche? I was actually live all day today, Carmen. I was live for like 3 hours earlier today. But you don't really go to YouTube like you used to, so you missed that one. And I'm probably going to erase that off my channel anyway. That show is going to disappear to the ether. Wasn't a part of my normal show repertoire. But I was live earlier today. So while you were thinking of me, I was right where I was supposed to be, Carmen. It's funny how life works. What do you want to say? What am I going to tell you, love? Appreciate you for the support. Thank you for the early donation. Shout out to Hoodoo Hideaway also in the Rumble chat with the $2 Rumble chat. He says a few dollars in the hat. Thank you all. Appreciate everybody's support. Had an interesting day today. I'm not gonna dwell on that. It was like a clapback stream. Not even a clapback, but more of a response, because you know we were talking about reparations on somebody else's channel. And it turned into this whole I was on Keep 100's channel. We were talking about politics in general, and then at the end it turned into reparations. And then, you know, I'm anti-reparations for a couple of reasons. And then after the show, somebody from that show went on their own channel and was like talking a little crazy, just a little bit. And so we had another show about that, but it got petty, and I don't really want to keep that up on my main channel. So and I knew it beforehand. I didn't want to have that a part of any of my other channels either. So it did happen though. It did happen. And the Midwest request with the $1 Rumble chat, he says, this is not reparations. This is $1 in the collection plate. Thank you. I do collect personal reparations, by the way. I have collected a handful of personal reparations over here on the platform, which I support. You know, that's a private deal between two individual operators. Who am I to put my thumb on that, right? So feel free to donate some Rumble chat reparations if you guys are so inclined. But thank you to everybody out there. Appreciate all your love and support. I had some other things I wanted to talk about today. I don't want to get bogged into a reparations conversation. That was like 3 hours earlier today. I don't care about it enough to talk about it at length forever. And honestly, I don't even take things that personal, so I'm not really all into the you was talking crazy about me on your channel thing. I'm not going to drag that out forever either. It's petty and worth nothing, you know what I mean? Doesn't go nowhere. And so, all of that being addressed, I think it's time we do a real show. I don't know about you guys, but I'm in the mood for an actual show. How about that? How about we actually do a show? Talk about some interesting things. That's what I got for you guys. You sit tight. I'll be right with you.
Joy Reid, and this is my last show. MSNBC decided to cancel it because they don't realize how much my show has to offer. Like, how will white people know how racist and misogynist they are if I don't tell them every day? Anyway, joining me is another victim of oppression, Don Lemon.
Thanks, Joy. I don't know what you're upset about. There's no way you're as oppressed as I am. After all, I'm black and gay. According to the hierarchy, I'm one tier more oppressed than you.
Don, that's ridiculous. Obviously, I'm more oppressed than you because I'm black and have a minky in my pants. You're black and gay, but you're a man. And being a man canceled out the gay.
I didn't realize I was talking to Jim Crow. Being black and gay makes me way more oppressed than you.
But you don't have a minky in your pants. Man, I wish there was some way we could settle this.
Oh, what is happening? Where are we? Who abducts a black and gay man? What is this? Jim Crow teleporting? I brought you here. I'm Cynthia Erivo. I heard your dispute about who's more oppressed. As you know, I was recently chosen to be Jesus because I'm black and gay, so I have the power to determine who's more of a victim. As you know, the oppression tier list was discovered by Rosa Parks. She wasn't as oppressed of any of us, but this is how we determine who's the most oppressed.
So who's more oppressed?
I'm getting to that. According to the tier list, I'm at the top because I'm black and gay and have a minky in my pants. Joy, you're here on level 2 because although you're just black, you do have a minky. Don, you're closer to the bottom. You may be black and gay, but you're a man and that cancels out a gay. This is outrageous. You're just saying that because you're homophobic. I didn't realize we were looking at the Jim Crow oppression tier list. It doesn't really matter. You're both equally obnoxious.
The race lady. Why would they call me that? Is this really about me fixating on race? Or is it about you fixating on race?
But Donald Trump wants to never let black and brown folk up off the mat. Evident what they mean by DEI, right? Why not just say what you mean? You can't stand black people. We get it. You've been heard.
Are you committed to naming a black woman as your vice presidential running mate?
They wanted to go after the brown people too, because of course that is their other target.
You feel joy? Say joy.
It's not fashionable to be openly racist anymore in America, unlike what they call the good old days. Only the white Christian men may have the things. So you own everything that happens to your mixed status families and to your wives, sisters, and abuelas.
Joy.
If you are black plus anything else, you are black. Violent white nationalism that today threatens our national security.
Make a joyful noise.
Don't send any of those invites to any black women you know.
We do have a fascist groundswell in parts of this country, mainly among white men. Let's be clear.
I mean, you're also a white guy. Are you saying the we is white folks need more kids?
Make your own dinner, MAGA. Make your own sandwiches. Wipe your own tears.
Only God can give that woman the kind of joy she had right there.
Similarities to what happened in Germany and what's happening now in America are just undeniable.
Donald Trump is acting like a Nazi, talking like a Nazi, and now posting like a Nazi.
Like Trump, Hitler was also viewed as a clown, a goon who could be kept in line after a 4-year break to, learn to accurately quote Adolf Hitler. Right wingers were saying, get in the oven anytime you made any benign comment on Twitter. Elon Musk, I guess he misses the old South Africa in the 80s. He wants that back. Yes, no. Not only is Trump a criminal, he's also someone who is arguably in mental and perhaps even cognitive decline. Yes, Biden is aging. He shuffles when he walks and forgets names and makes gaffes. But he's not incoherent. He can give us a prompter speech.
Yes, sir.
Kamala Harris has passed the audition flawlessly. This has been, in many ways, a perfect campaign. For misappropriating black vernacular for misogynistic purposes, Elon Musk is the absolute worst. They've taught people the word inflation, right? Most people who would have never used that word ever in their lives are using it now because they've been taught it. So many of us are not safe in Donald Trump's America. If you're mad at United Healthcare and you voted for Trump, you essentially voted for America to be run like United Healthcare.
And you think, oh yeah, they let the race lady in. Blah, affirmative action. Blah. Well, listen, let me cheer you up, okay? I got into Harvard and Yale, Vassar, and the University of Denver too, because I had a really high GPA and fantastic SAT scores.
Let me just be clear. I got into Harvard only because of affirmative action. A black woman forced you to pay a $175 million fine. For me, there's something poetic and actually wonderful about that. It says something good about our country that we're still capable of having that happen. Go DEI. My DEIs are bringing it home.
It's so interesting for me today having this long, drawn out argument about reparations And at the very end of of the show today, I pointed out, because I've been tracking this for years now on my channel, I pointed out how reparations, to achieve reparations, it would depend on a huge amount of white guilt. And white guilt is it's a resource that is in dwindling supply lately. White folk are not, they're not letting you mine their guilt like they used to. And it's actually kind of funny when I think about it. At the same time, and it's a sign of white people refusing to let their guilt be mined any further. Joy Reid's firing, it sent a shockwave through left-wing media, mostly the blacks, but left-wing media is they basically had a funeral for Joy Reid the day after it was announced. And I noticed two things. It was on a channel. There's a YouTube channel out it's called Win with Black Women. It's the name of the YouTube channel, Win with Black Women. Now, this YouTube channel, it spawned during the election cycle with Kamala Harris, and there was a corollary channel, Win with Black Men, as well. But they actually don't have a channel. There is just a group called Win with Black Men. It's kind of folded into Win with Black Women. I found that hilarious, by the way. Win with Black Women has a YouTube channel, and Win with Black Men, it just supports the Win with Black Women YouTube channel. It's very black politics, you know what I mean? And on that channel, they hosted basically a wake for Joy Reid. You never really see this when somebody gets fired, right? Especially from like the media, when somebody loses their little cable channel news show or whatever, you never really see that. But they basically held a wake for Joy.
Why this is so precious and why it matters. In the news media, it is so rare for Black women, Black people, period, but Black women to have a voice and a platform. Across all newsrooms, only 6% of newsroom staff is Black. When you disaggregate that data, that means the number of Black women are even fewer. When you disaggregate that data, that means the number of conscious Black women who are not only Black faces, but Black voices are even fewer. Had it not been for the truth teller that you are, Joy Reid, I would never have gotten this platform. You put your stake on it. You put your stake on me, and what a blessing it is to have the baton passed to you from MHP and to have you pass the baton to me. I will be standing right there with you, next to you tomorrow when you deliver your final show on that network. I already told Jay I'm coming over. We're going to toast afterwards. We are going to have joy, and I want to be there with you when you sign off. And I heard you say, and I know that feeling, Joy, that I heard you say, my show mattered, but you're speaking in past tense. I want you to know that you matter, present tense. Your voice matters. And I'm glad you're not on camera because I don't want you to be associated with these remarks. And I apologize to Bishop Daughtry right now because I'm going to try to stop myself from delivering some 4-letter words. But I'm going to just say, don't watch where you're not welcome. Don't shop where they won't hire you. The same thing they say. Don't even hate watch. And don't believe the hype, because what comes next are the attacks where they just start making up stuff. So brace yourself, because y'all are going to hear some things and they're going to try to say some things, because when movement happens, they don't know how Black women move. And because they don't know that, they move like colonizers, and then they try to put out an attack.
I really feel like this picture of Bill the Butcher in a room, just, obnoxious, proud of nothing, Black women behind. I really feel the Bill the Butcher sentiment now listening to these women. It's like this picture is alive and I'm the guy in the picture right now. I'm having like a really out of body Butcher experience right now. It's bizarre.
We are here to support Joy. Don't believe the hype about the ratings. Her show was doing very well. You know whose ratings ain't doing well, who ain't never got fired? Morning Joe Scarborough. They went to Kiss the Ring and they are still being elevated. The other, I could say a lot about other ratings, but if you look at them, Joy show has rated very well. She's always done well. There are people.
Hey, listen, man. JPD64 in the chat. We will not tolerate much Bill the Butch slander in this room. All right, Bill the Butcher is a spirit animal over here in the gulag, and that may or may not have happened. And until that's confirmed, we are not going to brook these wild rumors and conspiracies that you have about our noble hero Bill the Butcher.
In positions of power who do not like her opinions and truth telling courage when she spoke about what was happening in Gaza, among a lot of other things. And I am proud to call you my sister. And I just want to encourage everyone on this call, keep uplifting. Don't share things that are negative. Don't repost, even if you're criticizing it. Don't even give it breath. Don't even give it life. We need joy. We have joy. And that's the only thing we're trafficking in right now. Joy and uplifting our sister and holding your hand. And just thank you, Angela, so much for always holding the line, holding us. This is bringing me back to 2022 when I was in your custody. So I just can't.
And the crazy thing is I listened. I found the Win with Black Women YouTube channel because I wanted to know where all these tributes to Joy Reid were coming from. So I found the channel where all the live streaming happened. It was like the biggest thing that ever happened on that channel. And as I listened to them talk, it was a funeral. I swear to God, it was a funeral. They had a pastor and everything. They had a preacher. The whole thing, it was a funeral for Joy. Because America killed Joy. Bill killed Joy. That's really what happened. The spirit of America killed Joy. Bill killed Joy. Bill is alive and Joy is dead. And they had to have a funeral for that bitch.
Thank you enough. And I love you dearly. Shout out to all the machetes. I love you, Angela. And I love you deep, Joy Reid. I love you so deep.
We've got to move with courage. So I'm going to tell you today, you'll see near the end of this call, a video that will run. We are going to operationalize hashtag TV off. So still hashtag we need joy, but also hashtag TV off. Joy Reid won 2 NAACP Image Awards this week. Joy Reid has been an award-winning journalist. She is brilliant. There's nobody who can touch Joy. And just because you find other people to put in a time slot who look just like Joy does not mean that that is Joy's voice. So it's hashtag TV off because we are boycotting MSNBC. We will not be watching. The final time we're watching MSNBC, I'm speaking for my brother and sister right here. We invite.
This is what they were planning after the funeral, you know. It's like when the police killed some little black teenager for shoplifting and they shot him in the back as he was running down a dark alley or something. Now we gotta boycott Kroger's now. This is like some civil rights level. Are we gonna protest the white man after this funeral type shit? This is wild.
I invite you to join us. It's tomorrow night after Joy Reid 7 p.m. readout is done. TV is off, but we want historic ratings for tomorrow. We want to ensure that we are writing letters, sending emails, posting on social, telling people how much Joy Reid means to us. And we're also letting people know that we have our own outlets. We have our own Black media entities that we want to support and lift up. We're not just about taking away. We're giving you facts. We're still going to make sure that we keep those options open. Joy is going to let you know on tomorrow's show where you can find her.
I'm telling you, man, they was out testifying that night. And it wasn't even just on that stream. It was like all of Black YouTube entertainment podcast media. They were all talking about this Joy Reid thing. Like it affects everyone apparently.
Give it to me. Man, I am outraged.
This is the Joe Budden podcast now.
Joy Ann Reid, the host of the Readout at 7 p.m. at MSNBC, was let go. They announced it this Sunday in the New York Times. From what I understand, talking to her team, They found out in the New York Times. They didn't find out from the network. They found this out. This is all part of a process. Maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, Rashida Jones stepped down as president of MSNBC, the other Rashida Jones, and not Quincy Jones' daughter. And she, when she stepped down, she was replaced by somebody who just overhauled the whole network. They said it was because of ratings that Joy Reid was let go. I don't buy that fully because nobody watches these cable news networks anyway. They all got shitty ratings, but everybody with shitty ratings wasn't cut. And the people with the shittiest ratings weren't the ones at the front of the line getting cut. When you look at the image on Sunday, it's Joy-Ann Reid. When you look on Monday, it's Joy-Ann Reid. It's Jonathan Capehart of Brotherhood, a Sunday show. It's Ayman Mohyeldin, the Egyptian guy.
Katie Fang.
Katie Fang. I mean, it looked like the Rainbow Coalition of people getting fired from MSNBC. And Lester Holt stepping down from NBC. So it's just a lot of brown people, a lot of black people. And from what I can see, it's people who didn't kiss the ring. You know, since Big T, as y'all say, came into office, he's been running up in these corporations and these media outlets telling people, if y'all want to play ball with us, you're going to do what I say. It's not like 8
or
years.
Else.
Or else.
Or else.
It ain't like before when all the networks were like,
I want you to look at Bill in the eyes as I say these words. I want you to look Bill deeply in the eyes as I say these words now, because, you know, this, oh my God, Trump's on a warpath. I can't believe Trump's doing this. Trump's doing that. Is so much. Look Bill deeply in the eyes as you hear these words. You tried to kill me. You sons of bitches tried to kill me on TV in front of everybody.
Fuck you. War.
I hope it never stops. I hope it never stops. I hope every day of his 4 years is just cutting, slashing, and making
we're going to be the
hoes
loyal
mad.
opposition. We're going to challenge Trump. We're going to beat Trump. Now they want to be in bed with Trump. And Trump, like, I don't like Joy-Ann Reid. He's been very explicit. I don't like her. And he's pointing at certain people. There's also people who've been critical of certain things. Those are also the people who are getting laid off and fired and let go. And the new president of MSNBC,
Rebecca something.
Cutler.
Yeah.
I remember her name because she's the person who fired me from CNN.
Fuck that.
She gave me the call. I'm not blaming her. I won't say she fired me. She was the one who gave me the call. Got it. I actually think it was above her, so I don't blame her for that. But what I am saying is that the business is the business is the business, and it seems to me that MSNBC is in a new zone. All cable TV is in a new zone, which is we're not in a diversity game anymore. We're not in the both sides game anymore. It's getting more and more right wing, and I think it's a message for all those black people out there protesting. Please stop protesting to get people their jobs back. One, it doesn't work. Ain't nobody ever got their job back from people protesting. Two, create your own shit. It's time for us to have our own media outlets so that we don't always have to come
really
hat
it
in
right there.
hand.
You see what happens when you force niggas to do better? All of a sudden, they start getting resourceful and creative and shit. He's like, please, create your own. Bootstrap, nigga. You see these over here? These is bootstraps. All you gotta do is pull on them. That's all you gotta do is just pull on them. Now you got liberal left-wing niggas giving bootstrap arguments. This is good. This is really, really good. Left-wing niggas believing in bootstraps. I almost didn't believe it myself.
Nigga, please. Serious.
Begging people for jobs and not being able to take the positions we want to take. Joy was courageous. Joy took some. I don't always agree with her, but she always took principal positions, and she's not there.
And she wasn't always, she was very critical of Trump, but she was also very critical of the Biden administration.
Exactly.
Because she was very vocal about her opposition to the war in Gaza.
Exactly.
So
that's what I'm saying. And so was Ayman Mohyeldin, and so was Mehdi Hassan, who got fired a year ago.
And that's another thing too. Like there are some moves inside the moves, because although a lot of people in America, especially like a lot of the white conservative audience, they really hate Joy Reid, but the white folks didn't do this. This is probably more related to Israel than white folk being happy. But every now and then, you know, you get a bone. Every now and then, people toss you a bone. You got to take the wins with the losses, right?
You know, there's a pattern here. You know, if you go against the establishment on 2 or 3 major issues, you're not in here anymore. Right. And that's a problem. Let's get our own shit, though, so we're not always looking. TV is dead anyway. Mm-hmm. But let's move away from it.
They run this shit like Death Row. They run the country like Death Row.
For real.
My nigga, like, they have put pressure on all of the tech niggas. All these niggas that got the zillions of dollars, they made them niggas kiss the ring. They running this shit like a different, like, this shit is crazy.
We ain't never seen.
You know how in other countries you can't say, yo, fuck the president? They damn near gonna be like, you said what? Yo, he's fired.
That's what's starting to feel.
And that's what America is. America is, we can say certain things. Like other countries, you can't say, they said North Korea, dog, if your house catch on fire, you better run out the house with the picture of the president. Before you save your dog, you have to come out the house with that picture of the president, or you could go to jail for that. We not there. Of course, that's an extreme, but we going down the road
of autocracy.
We are going down that road, and honestly, the left has been driving us down that road for a long time now. It's the left who tells you certain words are bad. It's the left who tells you you can't even think like that. That way of thinking, that's evil, that's naughty. That's the left wing doing that kind of thing to you.
It's just different, bro. This shit is something we never seen in 2 months. Only been 2 months, month and a half. So anybody on TV that's gonna speak out against anything MAGA, y'all days might be numbered.
Your days is numbered, unless you kiss in the ring. Because there will be certain people who will be allowed to be.
And this is the weird thing about the left. Technically, MAGA and the right wing, especially from being in the underdog spot for so long, MAGA and the right wing are the free speech wing of the party. It's the right wing who pushes the bounds of what's acceptable to say, right? What kind of conversations are you allowed to have in public, polite society? It's the left wing who wants you to, you know, shut up and kiss the ring most of the time. Kiss the transgender ring.
Critical, because behind the scenes they're doing certain things. So there's always a secret arrangement when it comes to cable news.
What do you think about Rachel Maddow and this, the monologue that she
shout out to her.
I mean, that's how you show up, and that is how you're an ally, and that's how you use your white privilege the right way. But
Yes.
that shit, it gave me chills.
White people, if you're trying to figure out how to show up, watch that video.
Rachel Maddow, speaking well of Joy Reid, gave the video vixen chills. The video vixen almost got moist. That's crazy. Now, that white hug thing. Free Zone Lil, you said this a lot. You said this quite often. Too many niggas want the hug from white people. They just want that white hug. I just want you to see me in all of my black glory. Just recognize my black glory. And that's really what, that's really what they want. The ironic thing is none of the black people who want white folks to recognize their black glory, they'll never recognize that white glory, right? They'll never play the token back. They'll never do the same in the opposite direction. It's one-sided allyship. I noticed that. One-sided allyship is pretty gay.
That's how you show.
What'd she say?
And depend on them.
Oh,
I mentioned
look at you, boy, producing the show, huh?
job is forever.
Stupid ass thumb. My thumb's as big as hell.
Run out. Are great colleagues and great at what they
No,
do.
no, hold on.
I have learned so much from her.
Yeah, that was Joy Reid. I really don't want to play. I mean, that was Rachel Maddow. I really don't want to play Rachel because I got a better clip from Don Lemon, actually. Yep. Joy Reid got fired and everybody's upset. Even the gay hoes is mad.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
This is about targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me, because I didn't get a single apology.
Time has expired.
When my life was threatened. Thank you.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
So let me just say to Megyn Kelly, in my 30-some years as a journalist and my 50-some years as a person of color, go fuck yourself. Okay?
I took his angry gay sip of mystery liquid. Oh, goodness gracious. Now, why is Don Lemon upset with one Megyn Kelly? Well, apparently Megyn Kelly said some unkind things about Joy Reid. She was not a big fan of Joy Reid. And apparently Megyn was laughing. Megyn was laughing at Joy Reid. And Don Lemon doesn't like that. Let me show you. I dropped this video the other day about it.
There's a thing about both white vigilantism and white tears, particularly male white tears. Really white tears in general, because that's what Karens are, right? They Karen out, and then as soon as they get caught, it's like, Green Waterworks. I'm sorry.
That
big news tonight will be Joy Reid's final show on MSNBC. Single tear, white woman tears happening right here, Joy. She was officially fired over the weekend because she's a racist, horrible news anchor with no ratings.
my show had value, and that I'm sorry, that what I was doing had value.
I'm loving it. I usually don't like to talk about her because she's one of those people, she thrives on it. She has built the second part of whatever of her career on being a troll. So this is what Megyn Kelly said about Joy Reid, right? And remember, Joy Reid is a woman, Megyn Kelly is a woman. She's supposed to be all about women and, you know, supports women. Okay, so this is what she said. Remember when Joy Reid laughingly mocked white women tears as pathetic and offensive to her? Who's crying now, Joy? Good riddance to the absolute worst person on television, and shame on NBC for letting it go on this long. And she has a, you know, she is an axe to grind when it comes to MSNBC.
And you know what's great about this? There's an interesting flattening of the media happening right now. You know, once upon a time, Don Lemon was, you know, big shot, CNN, black gay professional. And he could sit up on his perch high above from cable news and deliver moral indictments. And now he's doing the exact same thing. He's got the exact same kind of setup that I have. This motherfucker is on StreamYards, just like I am. I can tell by the graphics and the layout. He's on StreamYards, just like everybody else right now. I love the new media.
And also, you know, this whole, she's racist, right? It's just, I'm gonna give you the evidence. Supposedly learned from it and then spent every day after apologizing for it and being fired for it, then spent every day proving the point that she is a racist. And not very supportive of women. If you look, all you have to do, the evidence is in her Google search and what she says about women and how she calls them out all the time. The worst person. No, Megyn Kelly. The worst person on television was fired from NBC in the Today Show a few years ago, and that's Megyn Kelly. That's the worst person who's not on television anymore. Is you. That's the worst person who's not on television. So hurrah for that. NBC did something good with that. You know why? I like to give proof of things. evidence. Like when I said Donald Trump, the president of the United States, was racist, it wasn't my opinion. This isn't my opinion about Megyn Kelly. The evidence is there. I'm going to show you the evidence of Megyn Kelly, and that's just as I showed you the evidence of Donald Trump.
I wonder how the media landscape is going to change in the next 10, 20 years when all of your old school media figures are reduced to collecting super chats just like everybody else on YouTube now. And, shout out to super chats. I haven't gotten a super chat in years on YouTube, so I understand what the game is. I'm just saying this is having a huge effect on the media landscape.
But it's not just Joy. We've had a lot of shakeups here, as I know you have heard. My dear friend of 20 years, the brilliant, the supremely talented broadcaster Alex Wagner, who I've known since college, will not be returning to her hour, so I will not be throwing to her each night at the end of my show, and I'm going to miss that. Luckily, Alex is staying here at MSNBC as a senior political analyst, and she is going to be a fixture here on this show constantly, sharing her insights and reporting from the field. These shakeups are not only happening in front of the camera. As I'm talking to you tonight, there's dozens and dozens of people inside this building and in other offices who put on all these shows on the air who are freaked out, uncertain about their future. And I just want to say that all of us in front of the camera understand deeply, viscerally, how important their work is, how essential they are. And
they all feel like that. Each and every one of them, they know one thing for a fact, that their job was important, that what they did mattered.
My show had value, and that that what I was doing had value.
And all of us are committed fully to supporting them in any way we can. Without producers, there's no show. Can't do it. It's something that Joy understands deeply.
How has doing this job changed you? Like the way you think about politics, the way you think about communicating. Like I'm always thinking about the craft of what we do, because we do it so much and it's so dominant in our lives. And I'm curious how you think about it.
I think I would say that, first of all, the collaborative process of doing these shows.
Yeah. A lot of big shakeups seem to be underway right now. And can't wait to see what comes next. And I want to now kick it to somebody who's becoming a YouTube favorite of mine. Ever since he told me that he told us all about how he feels about a particular subset of women.
These angry, mad, opportunistic, lying black women.
How did we get here where, oh yeah, let's put 4 or 5 women on a TV show and let's set them up as the authority on American culture and American society. And let's make that every major politician, celebrity has to go on The View and be scolded and or engaged with 4 or 5 idiots. Women in delusion.
Jason Whitlock is one of the few mainstream figures that has nothing to do with anything like the Black manosphere who will say that kind of thing. Jason Whitlock will go there. And I respect him for that. And he got there all on his own, apparently. Like I said, he's no connection to the manosphere. I don't think he's popped up in anybody's chat or anything like that, but he sees that.
Women who, and again, I'm talking about even the conservative ones that are set on that show. They all sit there with that entitled mindset. You owe me something. The world owes me something. And you wonder how we got here. How we got here where Jasmine Crockett sits in Congress as ghetto as any LaQuisha from the hood, pretending she's cosplaying because she's not that ghetto, but someone's put a battery in her back. Someone has paid her to play the buffoon in Congress. This woman has no qualifications to be in Congress, no qualifications to be anywhere where she's making laws for a nation. She's an idiot. Elizabeth Warren, call me a sexist pig, call me whatever you want. But this whole little bending over for women,
there it is, calling it out. And as a country, that's kind of what's been happening in all kinds of arenas, just bending over for women, as he called it. Perfectly true, though. That's kind of what's been demanded of us all as citizens, men, women, whatever, right? You have to live by the very subjective female whims and call that the rule of law, right? Democracy. That's why America is a republic, because technically democracy is kind of gay. Shout out to True Hype over in the Rumble chat with the $2 Rumble chat. He says, is it really a good idea to brag about how you are going to keep someone on your staff that couldn't get it done on their own, leading to their own termination? True Hype, it's an interesting question. I'm going to answer that question like this.
A lot of people seem to not understand me.
Science proves that the black woman is God. We're not just saying that.
And the black and Latino woman, they manifested themselves out of dark matter energy. All right.
I believe the black woman is God.
Black woman, God. I don't believe God, no man. I believe God, a black woman.
The black woman is God.
But my number one subject matter is the black woman is God. That's first and foremost.
Black woman is God.
The black woman is still God.
You're God, black woman.
the black woman is God. She is the creator. She is the sustainer. She is the provider. She is the first teacher of the children. She is everything to the black race.
But don't get it wrong. I am still a white man's whore.
It's how we got here. And it's how you create the Joy Reids. And she turns out to be the most racist person to ever host a television show in mainstream media. Zaya Wade, Dwayne Wade's son, who they're calling a girl, on the cover of 17 magazine. Zaya Wade. And I this is a little boy on a girls magazine cover. And you all know I go out of my way not to be hypercritical of Dwayne Wade, because I got a soft spot for Dwayne Wade. I think that he's a good person. I think Gabrielle Union has dragged him off somewhere where he shouldn't be. I like the way that Dwayne Wade honors his own father. And so I'm not going to go over the top with my.
Well, since the last clip was about, listening to women, I just thought I'd add this because this is where it gets you. This is the extreme punishment of listening to women.
My criticism of Dwayne Wade, because I just don't do it. I got a soft spot for the guy. However, the using of this son's mental illness, and I don't say that to be rude to Dwayne Wade, but it's a mental illness. It was always, up until the last 10, 15, 20 years, this gender dysphoria issue was always considered a mental illness. And I'm just too old to pivot off of that. I'm not. I'm just too biblical to pivot off that. the young man has a mental issue, and instead we're trying to correct the mental issue by confirming his mental issue. But more than anything, when I looked at the things in the recent news cycles, from this out of the closet fingernail painting, gay as you can be, Eugene Daniels getting a television job at MSNBC, being a host. We think there's this vibe shift.
Yeah, we got to talk about that next too, by the way. The new host on MSNBC.
I think the political winds are blowing in a different direction, and MSNBC is just doubling down. Nope. Jonathan Capehart's being reassigned, but we got somebody gayer than Jonathan Capehart. This Eugene Daniels, flaming, as zesty as they come. Then I look at Stephen A. Smith, and as idiot and as planted as you can be. And I look at the intentional things he's doing to get himself in the news cycle, to try to develop himself as a presidential candidate. I look at Jasmine Crockett and her little ghetto shtick, and just being as rude and as vile as possible to stay in the news cycle, to hype herself up as a political figure. And then I see this little young child being thrown out there as the face of transgenderism. And I look, you can see if you're watching, if you're just listening, we got all these people on screen. It's all Black people. And I just, what are we doing? Why?
Black America has really become the face of everything that ails America. And that's really unfortunate. It's incredibly unfortunate, because it gives way too much credibility to the so-called racist out there, you know, the real hardcore, purebred white nationalist type. You give them way too much credibility when everyone starts to notice that Black people seem to be on the bleeding edge of all the things that are bad for America right now. This is why I don't like to pick up the fight. I don't want to defend this shit.
As I'm just, and you guys know, I'm really uncomfortable with the racial idolatry and with the, I don't like to talk about things this way, but we just have to. There is a demographic that has been set up as pawns to promote every form of stupidity and debauchery and immorality that we can think of.
That's actually very sharp, though. Joe Biden, when he was in his prime, no sound. Oh, we got to run that back. Okay, uno momento. Let's drop that.
He has a hard time running against Vice President Harris because she's a Black
This is
woman.
Boy Reed,
You
by the
remember
way.
actually when he would tussle with the women that would ask him questions, our colleagues on the White House beat, reporters, you know, he held his kind of most angry self for Black women, right? If they asked him a question, he would have the worst things to say about them. So you're seeing that, right?
I can think of three off the top
of our head. And when he talked about Joe Biden got worse, Harris was born like that, right? That's different. That's a dog whistle to folks to say, you know, the white guy just got older and it got worse, but the Black lady was born dumb. That is the kind of thing that Donald Trump is saying and selling to folks.
Yeah.
He has a...
Now, again, that's what I was just about to say. That's actually a very sharp observation. Joe Biden in his prime was prime. He was on it. Kamala Harris in her prime was a good-looking woman. It's not the same shit at all. These are two very different political beasts you got going on right here.
I assumed that the silent Trump vote no longer existed because like of how proud they tend to be when we go to their rallies, but they still do, right?
yeah.
Like, and I think like a lot of the Black and brown voters, the reason that people missed that it was going to happen, including us, was because a lot of them were making that decision quietly. They weren't telling people. There was this whole thing about like, you know, Julia Roberts does this ad that's like, women don't tell.
You know, there's something else about this guy and his elevation at the news network. And it just occurred to me that we were talking about promotion the other day. Like, just by the fact that a thing is on television, it's being promoted to some degree without even being an outright commercial, right? And so, like, when you put MSNBC, frankly, all of cable news right now, they have very few, if any, straight Black men hosting a news show. Michael Steele just got bumped up. He's not even technically hosting, he's co-hosting. But of all the Black people that had a cable news show recently, they were either Black women or gay men. Which tells me two things. Well, it tells me a couple of things. Let's pull this back a bit. You obviously are promoting Black women relatively as they are. You're promoting Black women without much change to the general product, right? You're going to play down the negative aspects, perhaps, but they're promoting Black women relatively as is. But when it comes to Black men, the left wing promotes the Black man as gay. All the time. You're either gay or very effeminate in your muscularity and your manhood. You might be like a big musclehead nigga, but you're a Black woman is God type of musclehead nigga, right? You know what I mean? Or then there's just the thug, which, you know, you may or may not be gay too. The thug, that's kind of, it's a given. But on television, when it comes to like more, you know, the non-thug roles, you're more likely to be a gay man than a non-thug. A fet, that's a great word for it, a fet. He said this nigga got a brooch on. Yeah, that just might be a brooch.
Tell your husbands like what happens in this.
Are you not the type of guy to wear a nice, classy brooch? Is that what you're telling me? You're not the type of guy. You're not the sort of guy that just might bust out with a brooch because you feel broachy every now and then.
The booth, and like that was true, but it wasn't true for the same way. Right?
It was true the other way.
Exactly.
Axios published a survey the week before the election, and it said nearly 50% of Gen Z voters, nearly 40% of millennials.
You see what I mean, right? If you were to look at this guy. Look at this guy. He's damn near dressed in feminine attire. He's wearing like a woman's business suit, effectively, right? But then you look at the dark-skinned guy on the other side, and this is put together by the Harvard Kennedy School. So this isn't just left wing. This is the highest mind of the left wing. And you look at the guy on the left side of the screen, dark-skinned Black man, right? Dark-skinned, bald head. He's in shape, right? Not muscular, right? But he's in shape. And so you would think by looking at him, oh yeah, Black guy.
For the same way. Right?
It was true the other way.
Exactly.
Axios published a survey the week before the election, and it said nearly 50% of Gen Z voters.
He's not just the black guy. No. The Batsy rider.
Nearly 40% of millennials. It's like 18% of Gen X, and it was less than 10% of older generations had all admitted to lying or not being open about their vote. And when I saw those numbers, I was confident that he was going to win because I was like, these polls, we don't know what they're telling us.
Yeah, nobody wants to be honest with the gays, bro. That's really like, what's the point? What's the point? Nobody wants to tell your gay ass the truth, bro. You're just gonna run off and do some gay shit. Nobody wants to tell your gay ass the truth about how it's really going. They're just gonna vote against you. That's really what just happened here. That's really just what the whole country busts one of those moves. Like, don't make me vote against you. All right, I'm getting sick of this bullshit. And apparently, there's only so much gay you can sell to a country. Even if the blacks might buy a lot of it, they're not going to buy enough of
but,
it.
You know, it is. Here's something the Democrat Party ought to think about, right? You know, to the extent, and they would say that we're not doing that, but to the extent they take black voters and brown voters for granted, you know, they better be cured of that. And
I think when you have a bunch of humans doing one thing and the bigger the organization gets, there's always going to be something that is missed. I think what we have not
show, for instance.
Exactly. What we have not seen from Elon Musk or this administration is any evidence of all of this abuse that they're talking about, right? Right? Like they say they've gone in, they found all of this waste that has been happening. We haven't seen it. I will say though, it matters. It's a test case, and it matters who or what organizations or groups of people push back. We're not seeing a lot of pushback on the Hill, where they are supposed to have the power of the purse.
You know, another thing I noticed watching politics play out. You know, let's bring Bill back up for a minute here. The left wing is very much playing into the white versus everybody else dynamic of politics, right? They are lining it up this way. Have been for quite a long time. And it's an attempt to leave other people, the non-white people, with nowhere else to go. And it's still not quite working as effectively as they needed to in America. For a lot of reasons, America has been more immune to these effects than other parts of the world.
They created these organizations. Republicans are not saying anything. I've talked to many of them.
Republicans.
I think when you have a bunch of humans doing one thing and the
shout out to the Midwest Request. He put out a $2 Rumble chat. He says, why are they all sitting sassy and the one dude with dry Jerry curls? Again, advertising, bro. This is the blackness that the media wants us all to buy. Black, white, whatever. This is the media. That's the type of man they want you to believe. That's the type of man they want you to be as a black man, and that's the type of man that they prefer as a liberal viewing audience, right? And so this is how advertising is happening. Very subtlety. You thought it was just commercials. You thought you had to actually wait for the commercial break before they try to sell you of some things. No. Pay attention as you actually watch television, and all media, it's all the same. Everything you see on screen is generally put there for a reason. Some things more effective than others. Some things are more the point than others, but everything you see on screen is on screen for a reason, because they could easily decide to not show you this particular thing. And so that you have to be very, very cognizant of the way things work and how things are, so to speak.
When we make the argument and we want to bring race into the equation, we got to have it. We got to have the evidence. It can't be subliminal. It can't be something that's assumed. It can't be something that can that is rife with plausible deniability. We got to know it. Now, if you want to sit up there and say Trump had something to do with it, that's fine, because he's coming after them. He's coming after G. He's coming after Mr. Brian Robbins for Comcast and their left-leaning, a news outlet. He's definitely, or channel rather. He's definitely doing that. We already seen him sue ABC and George Stephanopoulos. We already see him going after MSNBC. Donald Trump had an instant comment on Joy Reid on his Truth Social platform in the immediate aftermath of her being let go, dissing her and enjoying her departure. He's coming after folks. So now what it does.
Why is that a bad thing? Is it even a bad thing at all? Again, look at Bill. Look Bill in the eyes. I want you to be looking Bill in the eye when you hear this. You tried to kill me. Why is it a bad thing to now come after my enemies? I don't know which one of you guys set that in motion. I don't know which one of you guys paid the trigger man. I don't know. Listen, as far as I'm concerned, you're all behind the curtain. So I'm just going to start taking people off the board one at a time. Sometimes I'm going to get rid of groups of people. I'm going to fire entire buildings worth of people, because I can do that now. You should have never tried to kill me. It's not my fault you guys can't shoot.
It provokes a bigger conversation about the networks themselves. And what are they going to stand up for? Or are they going to be strictly about their bottom line and kowtow to the president of the United States? Because he's coming for folks that he deems enemies. He's made no apologies nor any secret about it. That's what he's doing. And if you're going to support Joy Reid, the best way for you to do it was to make sure she didn't suffer a 47% drop in the ratings. See, we don't do that enough. And I'm speaking from personal experience, so I'm qualified to talk about this subject. Ladies and gentlemen, I will remind you that I had a show named Quite Frankly on ESPN2 from 2005 to 2007. I will remind you that it got canceled in 2007 after I did about 381 shows and I had about 785 guests.
He just brought up an interesting fact about Joy Reid. Like, her show was dropping in ratings. And Joy Reid being kind of widely known as the most racist show on cable news. And she's a black woman, so her racism is aimed at white people, white men specifically. You would think she would get more viewing audience than she did, or at least more black viewers, right? So two things you can infer from that reality. Either black people and black racism alone isn't enough to carry a spot in primetime cable news, or even black racists just aren't listening to Joy Reid, or there just isn't enough black racism to actually promote this show any longer.
We didn't have enough viewers. The cost that it took to have that show on the air, to pay for all of the overhead that came with it, wasn't worth it because the ratings said so. And one of the things that I remember most is folks coming up to me Oh man, I love your show. Man, I watch it every day. You the man, Stephen A. The show had been canceled 6 months earlier. How the hell you watch me every day? It had been canceled 6 months earlier. See, we talk. But if you really, really want to be helpful in knowing this business, if you really, really want it to be helpful to Joy Reid, the time to support her would it be now over digital airwaves and everywhere else while everybody's speaking and up in arms that her show got canceled. The time would have been to make sure that even in the aftermath of that election, that 1.4 million audience that she was drawing in prior to the election is the same audience that would have been there after the election.
Are you blaming the audience though? This is just like liberal left-wing people. They're blaming the audience. In all of my years, I've been focusing on building an audience and approaching the audience with things they might find valuable. You know what I mean? Not once did I ever say, you know, my audience is fucked up for that. The audience is retarded for that. You know what I mean? Not once has it ever crossed my mind to even think about the audience as being wrong. Because, and this is it seems weird. It feels weird for me to say this because, like, I'm, you know, amateur, right? I'm just a guy doing a show from you know, anywhere on a laptop. But you're a professional. I would expect you to really get this. You should have had internalized this by now, right? The audience is how you judge your own media performance, your own value in the media. Because if your audience no longer sees value in your show, then can you even say that your show had value? It's a very personal question for a content creator to approach.
My show had value, and that that what I was doing had value.
How much value did her show really have in its prime? Like, at its peak, was she ever number one? Was she ever number two even? I'm just curious because, like, Rachel Maddow, her spot seems relatively secure even in these hard times because Rachel Maddow is basically number one over on MSNBC. I don't know, like, where did Joy Reid actually line up in the overall rankings, though? That's really what I'm trying to understand.
Is the same audience that would have been there after the election. That's how you keep folks on the air. You didn't do that.
He's blaming us. He's blaming the people. We didn't keep her on air. We didn't provide her with value. Yeah. Anyway, Joy Reid, it's been fun. I'm sorry I missed your funeral, Joy. I understand it. They got together. They basically had a wake for you. And I couldn't be a part of that. And that's unfortunate. But I'm sending you my condolences. You know, condolences to the Joy Reid, to the ReidOut. I'm sending all my condolences. Everybody, send your condolences to the ReidOut. It's done. It's buried. They had a funeral. The pastor prayed on her and everything. It's over. It's officially dead. Now we can move on to some other matters. Some more entertaining news and events for the night. Because Donald Trump is making all the hoes everywhere.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
This is about targeting targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me, because I didn't get a single apology.
Time has expired.
My life was threatened. Thank you.
Hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad, hoes mad.
Today, I responded to the email that we received as federal employees asking us to report 5 things that we accomplished last week. I'm not worried about my 5 things. I have plenty of things to report. I did plenty of work last week. But the feeling of just like absolute existential dread that I felt typing out a response to that email is something that I wish I could convey to everyone, because it felt like such a glimpse into the reality that they are trying to create. And it was terrifying. It felt like, you will do what I say or else. The email that we received did not say that failure to respond would be taken as a resignation, but the post on X did say that. And leadership at my agency is pretty much like, the email's authentic, but we don't know if the threat is or is not. We are going to respond, but kind of left it up to each of us to decide what to do. We have received more emails about all of the fucking bullshit going on with Doge and Elon and all of this federal employee stuff, that like I've spent more time in the last couple of weeks navigating these emails, going to these town hall meetings, going to these other meetings, making sure that so that the leadership can break down what's happening and tell us how we need to respond and tell us what the fuck is going on and tell us, oh, you might lose your job because when your FTE runs, like there's so many things that they're having to convey to us. And so nothing that actually should normally be getting done and accomplished is being done.
She's cute. She could have been somebody's housewife and she wouldn't even be feeling all this existential dread. You literally married the government.
Or accomplished
Terrible.
because we're all so busy fucking trying to navigate this hellscape that is happening. That is waste. That and the fact that the studies we work on, if we are worried that they might be considered, something that will lose funding, what's the point in working on it now? And has the last year, 2, 3 years of work we've done on it been for naught? Like, that's wasteful. Like, this whole thing is an exercise for them to show us how much power they have. And
Hey, shout out to the Midwest Request over on Rumble. He says, Hood, your show has value. Now get yourself a dime sack on the house. Bro, I don't even know if they even actually sell things like dime sacks anymore. I think those days are done, bro. But my show does have value, damn it.
My show had value, and that that what I was doing had value.
how little we have and how we must do what they say. And it's so insane because, again, who the fuck is Elon? Like, and how does he get to decide that he is king of the federal employees, king of HR at the Office of Personnel Management? And he gets to tell us, send this email or you're fired, like you lose your job. There's no rationale here that makes it make any sense outside of, look how much power I have and you better fucking listen or your livelihood is gone. The 2 million people that are gonna have to respond to this email, if they choose to, are they gonna go through 2 million emails to make sure that they were honest, to make sure that they were authentic, to make sure that the items listed out were relevant to the people's jobs, to make sure that the person, like, there's so many things that would have to happen for them to like actually legitimately go through these emails, and that's not going to happen because it just like, it can't happen, and again, like, it's just a flex. It's just, you need to know who's in charge. And this is one of the ways we're making you aware. And the feeling that I felt responding to that email was such a glimpse into a possible future here, probable future here, if we don't fucking do something about it. It felt so scary and so heartbreaking. It felt much like I would imagine living in a place like what I always imagined North Korea to be like, where the energy is, yes, master, your wish is my command.
Having to answer an email from one of your higher ups is like North Korea. It's just like Pyongyang. Base Kim Jong-un, right? I know. It's just like North Korea. They made me read emails at 7 o'clock in the morning. Oh my God, freedom, you son of a bitch, freedom.
And again, these people that we're reporting to are people that have no expertise outside of like tech. They don't know anything about the health services that are operated through the federal system or about anything really. And now half of the CDC workforce is gone and the national park rangers are like largely gone. These are people who have worked their lives to have the careers they have, who have gone to school for this, who have built a career over years, decades. And now some man and his very ridiculously young tech bros are
You look a little young to be working for the government too, is all I'm saying. Like, what are you, 27, 28?
Taking away the careers of lifelong federal employees, people who have devoted their lives to this country, to the government, who have taken the oath. We all take an oath to the Constitution. That's not just for military and for people in politics. That's for all federal employees. And people take it really seriously. Things get done. Things continue on, and
You know, I remember years ago, there was a conversation on going around the manosphere. Kevin Samuels actually titled one of his streams, "Winter is Coming." It was back, I think, during the first Trump administration, but winter is coming. That was the thought going around the manosphere, right? You know, government cuts are gonna take the wind out of these women's sails, and it's gonna get cold out there in these streets. You know what I mean? They're gonna have to start negotiating. They're gonna come back to the table. That was the conversation going on a couple of years ago, that winter is coming. And I'm not going to be so bold as to say anything like that definitively, but I do think it's getting a little chillier.
things are happening because people are doing their jobs. There are people all over the place that are not doing their jobs everywhere all the time. That is certain. And that extends surely into people that work for the federal system. But everything that's happening is not because they don't think we do work. It's because they want to say, we have power over you. And that is a feeling that everybody should fear feeling when the people in charge of the place you live start to exercise that power in a way that there's no real reason for outside of, you will know who's in charge here. I am the captain now is the energy. That's terrifying. Like I said, this is a glimpse into a future that is really scary, and everything that's happening, this isn't, again, looking for fraud and waste.
Bitch. Wait, hold on, y'all. Let me get myself together. I'm about to crash the fuck out. So whereas other government agencies are really standing up for their fucking employees and things, my agency decides to say, hey, the email is legitimate. Please send 5 bullet points of what you did. You know what I'm gonna send? I did my motherfucking job. That's it. I ain't sending shit else. Y'all are fucking crazy. Bitch.
House with 87.9% of the 4,400 votes cast here today, and you're getting just 12% of.
Breaking news as we come on the air tonight. It appears Tiffany Henyard is out. Thanks for joining us. I'm Scott Schneider.
I'm Dawn Hasbrook. Our Dane Placco has been the leader in breaking news on all of the Dalton drama. Dane, this sounds like a shocker.
Yeah, Tiffany Henyard didn't just lose tonight. You might call this a political annihilation. Her opponent, trustee Jason House, getting a 7-1 margin over her tonight. House with 87.9% of the 4,400 votes cast here today. Henyard getting just 12% of the vote. Those numbers came in fast this evening, sparking a huge celebration here at House's campaign headquarters. An explosion of cheers and emotion tonight as the numbers started coming in, showing Jason House and his slate winning in a landslide. Some people even started dancing. Tonight's election effectively signals the end of the 4-year tumultuous term of Mayor Tiffany Henyard, who garnered national attention for her lavish spending, personal perks, and questionable contracts, all of which are now at the center of an FBI investigation.
You know, not a lot, but a handful of black women are ending these 4 Biden years, not only with the return of Trump, but also under investigation. Your girl Fannie Willis is getting deeper and deeper in some shit. On top of Tiffany Henyard getting kicked out of office, and she's still under investigation. Lot of things are happening in the country right
Past
about
few
now.
months in Dalton have been political chaos with canceled meetings, a no-show mayor, even a fist fight at the Thornton Township meeting where Henyard is also the elected supervisor. House telling the crowd tonight that Dalton's nightmare is finally over.
We faced 4 years of intimidation, 4 years of failure, and tonight is the new day for the community of Dalton.
We have suffered for 4 years, and now victory. We are claiming victory today is ours.
Henyard is out. We dancing all night, y'all, all night. We so happy.
Now, we've not been able to track down Tiffany Henyard yet tonight. She was not telling anybody earlier where she was holding her campaign event. She's been laying low, but we did talk to her earlier today as she cast her vote at a nearby school. Here's what she had to say around 4 o'clock this afternoon. Don't win, what are you going to do?
I might run for something bigger. You never know. We're not going to talk about that till we get the results, but I am confident that I will have a landslide this evening. My residents do love me despite fake news not showing the good that I do in the community, because I do a ton of good, but y'all just painted me as bad news for 4 years.
So not only did Jason House win, but also his backed clerk and 3 of the trustees, which means there will be almost a full slate of new trustees on the Dalton Village board that are supporting Jason House. A huge political shakeup here in Dalton tonight. This is the primary election. There's a general election still with an independent candidate running against House on April 1st. But for all practical purposes, here in a very blue suburb, it is the general election as well.
This lady is Valicia Adams Kellum. She's the CEO of the Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority, in charge of managing over $800 million annually in federal, state, county, and city funds towards homeless shelters. It's a big responsibility, so they pay her a monster salary, $430,000 a year. And what's she been up to? Valicia has just been exposed for funneling millions of dollars worth of contracts to her husband. Quote, documents show that Valicia Adams Kellum, chief executive of the LA Homeless Services Authority, signed a $2.1 million contract and 2 other contract amendments with Upward Bound House, a Santa Monica-based nonprofit where her husband, Edward Kellum, works in senior leadership. And here he is, Director of Operations and Compliance. Compliance. The irony is not lost on me. And for context, $2.1 million is about a quarter of Upward Bound House's total funding. So I would say Valicia's generosity is quite critical for this organization. Except that organization may not be what it seems. Haley Maria Van Nuys wrote that, personally, she feels sorry for all the new homeless families coming into this program thinking they're going to get help when they're not. That place isn't there for helping people. It's a sad money trench with a homeless face to back it up. Don't donate and stay as far away as possible. Not shocking. For journalistic integrity, I must say that Adams Kellum has denied wrongdoing. A LASA spokesperson told LAist that the contracts had inadvertently ended up in front of Adams Kellum to sign. Except, she's done it 3 separate times, so not shady at all. The agency also said that they have pledged additional staff training to prevent future incidents. Such a joke.
It's crazy because black folk do a lot of corruption. Black folk be running a lot of scams and shit, and now they're crying about Doge coming to check the books. I know why you're crying. I know why you're scared. Shout out to the Midwest Request with the $1 Rumble chat. He says the victory lap will last at least 4 years. It might take at least 4 years just to get halfway through all the books, bro.
True efficiency is about making government work better for the people, protecting their rights, strengthening essential services, and ensuring tax dollars go to the public good, not private profits. By that standard, Doge isn't here to serve anyone other than Elon Musk. Doge has recklessly fired FAA employees and attacked the agency, all while Musk-owned aerospace business benefits from regulatory rollbacks. Make it make sense. DOGE dismantled the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, a watchdog agency that returned $21 billion to victims of fraud when he heard it was planning to investigate his company. And just last week, in a moment of stunning incompetence, the administration frantically tried to unfire hundreds of employees they had to let go the day before. Why? Because those employees were overseeing our nuclear stockpile. Those employees were managing the bird flu outbreak. Those employees were providing not nice to have, but essential must have services that all of our constituents rely on. Mr. Dodaro, do firing workers and then trying to unfire them sound like government efficiency to you?
It's not a best practice.
Sure doesn't to me. What kind of efficiency makes people hungrier? What kind of efficiency makes people poorer? What kind of efficiency makes people less safe? If Trump and Musk truly wanted to make government better, then they would turn to the actual efficiency experts at the Government Accountability Office. But this was never about efficiency. Just like the DOGE meme, the lives of hardworking families are a joke to them. I won't stand for it. I know my colleagues won't either. We'll continue to fight for a government rooted in real efficiency, one that works for everyone, not just for billionaires. It's true.
And see, Democrats, a lot of people on the left, yeah, she only dresses like the evil villain. And honestly, I think it's the bald head. As a woman, it's hard to not look evil with a bald head. Guys can get away with it because, you know, we're guys. We have special talents. But for women, it's nearly impossible for a woman to have a bald head and not look evil. This is like women who have cancer, they're going through chemo, they have to wear wigs because it's not just that they look unhealthy, but they don't want to look evil either. It's bad enough you look sick. You want to look sick and evil, then you're gonna look like you deserve this shit, bitch. Like, no. Women's hair gives them a level of, you know, plausibility or whatever.
I really felt that we were providing support and care to humanity around the world because it's the right thing to do. And that made me feel proud no matter who was president. And now I don't know what to do. And I have cried every day. I think that that's normal. I have a 15-month-old at home and I'm looking at him and thinking, well, what's this country that we're now living in?
We're doing work for the American public. We're here for safety. And we're patriots. We love our country. That's why we're taking these jobs that don't pay us in the private sector. I'm an accountant. I could get a private sector job tomorrow, but I care about this country and I want to be here.
All of our networks is in dismantled. You know, there's no jobs for us here in DC. I don't know if there are jobs for security. A lot of people's professional lives are completely ruined. And I want to know how the senators are going to support us. How are they going to get resources? How are they going to make sure that people's families are taken care of? We're just witnessing the entire industry is going down. And what are the senators going to do about it?
They actually had like a USAID protest where it was like, you know, a sit-in basically. And I don't know if this was intentional or if the numbers are really that heavy, but notice how maybe 85 to 90% of the people that you see giving testimonials about being fired from USAID, being laid off by this or that government employee, you were a part of the fat that they cut. Notice how most of it is female. Most of the cuts that are happening to the government right now, lots and lots of women. As it turns out, when you're the United States government and you want to cut waste and fraud and you want to boost your efficiency, what winds up happening, even if you don't do this by name, what winds up happening is you get rid of a lot of women and probably some of the gays too.
To be honest, our entire
industry is imploding because they are demolishing USAID and the wood chipper. A lot of the work that we did at USAID promotes soft power.
Yeah, promote soft power. Women. Shout out to True Hype with the $2 Rumble chat. He was talking about Ayanna earlier. He said she got a bald head. And then True Hype again with the $5 Rumble chat. He says, how good did all these great efforts of these wonderful employees do during the pandemic a few years back with the dancing doctors, nurses, and all that? Yeah, I will not ever, I won't allow myself to forget the dancing doctors. To this day, I don't trust doctors, and I believe every bad thing that people say about nurses right now because of the pandemic. It was during the pandemic I began to hate.
Promotes our image around the world for America. And if you don't invest in this, then you will pay a lot more in defense, and it puts everybody at risk.
Yeah. Lots of pain happening under the Trump administration right now. All the things that we voted for are happening.
I'm an immigrant. I've been here in the country for so long, and I wanted to see if there was any attorneys or any wino attorneys that really knew their stuff. But now it's too late, and I am in hiding. I am so scared, Tasha K, because I'm able to get government assistance. I'm able to file taxes, but now it's too late with this president and what he's doing. So I'm in hiding.
Immigration issues.
Yes.
Okay. And
yes.
you're from the Bahamas?
Yes, I am.
Did you ever come over here legally though?
I did. I came over here legally when I had an I-94 card or something like that. I came over here legally, got a social. Everything was okay. And
So,
then
like, for school,
one day,
you came over for school.
yes, I was a baby when I came, 4 years old.
Okay.
So now I don't know what to do. My mom, she's over here walking the country free and clear, and nobody doesn't understand why she has never tried to help me.
So your mom has citizenship?
Yeah.
How did she get it?
She went through the ropes. She got her green card. You know, she went through everything to get it. Like, yes, they going after the criminals, but I don't want to go work. Like, let's say I go work, God forbid, and then them people run off in there, and I'm collateral damage.
What is your backup plan?
Officially, at 40 years old, Tasha, I don't have one.
Let's just say you do have to go back to the Bahamas, and that's not your home, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, you still got to work. You still have to find work. You cannot be living in fear at all. Things happen. That's just unfortunate. Like, things happen. There are other countries that you can migrate to and live great. You do that, right?
With just my passport? Oh, wow.
You have an American passport. There's not a country.
No,
you
it's
can't
Bahamian. It's from the Bahamas.
But you don't have an American passport at all.
No.
And you need to start looking into that. Like, if I don't want to go back to the Bahamas, or even if I have to go to the Bahamas, what is going to be my means for survival? And that's basically what you need. It's not that bad living in the Bahamas. It's really not. People vacation there all the time. If you prepare to go back to the Bahamas, who's to say that you won't be living your best life?
Go on getting there, girl. You gonna get you a plane, you're gonna get you a boat, but you gonna get now. Bahamas ain't that far away, but you're gonna have to get. America's closed. Damn foreigners.
This makes Jim Crow look like Jim Eagle.
Instead, we're pushing conspiracy theories, and some of them are killing people. It's the same thing that we have coming out of Doge. It's the reason that people are dying. It's the reason that farmers are losing their farms, because we continue to peddle conspiracy theories. It is time for us to say, Mr. President, guess what? Russia invaded Ukraine. Can we at least agree on that one? Facts matter. Y'all, this is literally potentially putting us into an international crisis. We may be heading towards the next world war because we have a president that wants to pal around with Putin and wants to do everything to make him feel good, including lying about who invaded who. Instead, we're pushing conspiracy theories, and some of them are
I think you're absolutely right, Joy, because if you read 2020, Project 2025, everything that is in Project 2025 is what is happening. And those things that you just listed are there. And so that is the goal. That is the ultimate blueprint. That is the ultimate plan. And it's been pretty effective so far with all these executive orders. But in terms of the immigration thing, I think this is not that different from what happens in Europe. You can have this sort of golden visa through real estate in places like Portugal and Spain and Greece,
a lot of the
Caribbean. So there, this would be the most expensive golden visa. But I think what's fascinating to me is that, yes, he ran on immigration and he ran really on the southern border, because we know we also border Canada, and that's actually the largest border, but they're not really going into Canada and looking for those Canadian people that are kind of jumping back and forth.
This is a misnomer. It's not Canadians that come across the northern border. The northern border crisis. No, it's people coming from other parts of the world, India, Mexico. But there's not a bunch of Canadians flocking. There's probably more Americans going to Canada right now.
That's not true, because I spoke to Governor Whitmer about it. But let me just.
That was a misunderstanding.
Can I just finish what I was saying?
Yeah.
So that I don't,
6,000 Canadians.
so that I don't lose my thought. The point is, he was all about immigration from the southern border, and those immigrants or those migrants look a certain way. So it seems to me this was never really just about immigration. It was about a certain type of immigrant. And so now we have these
Can I just clarify though?
Can I finish talking?
Yes.
Thank you. So,
ooh, it's getting spicy on The View. I wonder if they're gonna move on The View next, because The View gets a little bit racist every now and then too,
It's okay for Russian oligarchs to come over. It's okay for people with money to come over, but it's not okay to provide a path to citizenship for people that have been here, like the DACA recipients, for other people that look a different way.
So just to clarify, because there is a border crisis on the northern border, and it doesn't get nearly as much attention as the southern. The numbers aren't as high. It is not Canadians crossing from Canada into the United States.
Who is it?
It is Mexico and India are the two largest places that people are coming, because they're seeing that it's actually easier than going through the cartels and going through a more secure southern border. So if they have the resources, that's what the northern immigration
I want somebody to make a decision about immigration.
And actually,
I want somebody to make a decision about immigration, because if you're saying if you got enough money, you can come. But if you don't have the money, we don't want to take care of it. I want somebody to make a decision. Either you're welcome here and you come, or you're not.
Right.
But this, maybe you get in this, maybe,
Congress hasn't passed.
Well, how about then you're just not welcome here? Because don't leave that as an option on the table and then be upset when that's the option that people choose, right? Nobody wants to just be open forever. And if the only other option is nobody come in at all, then fine. Let's just close the door forever to just about everybody and then be happy with that. But, they don't really mean that when they say that, though. That's, they never really mean these things when they say these things.
Can we be real for a moment that Doge is not about cutting money, right? It's not about spending. It's about shrinking government so that it'll be too small to stop Trump with whatever else is in this plan.
And you know what? I think now is a good time. We are going to make the traditional jump over to Rumble right about now. So I'm going to need you guys to hit that link that I've been posting in the chat on YouTube and follow us over to Rumble. We are going to take this over to Rumble and probably have a brief panel before we shut this thing down for the night, in case anybody wants to chop it up for a few minutes. But thank you to everybody who's been following and listening on Rumble. Appreciate you guys' support as we broaden the platform and try to expand on other horizons. But we are closing this down on YouTube. I will catch you guys over on the Rumble side of the game. We will be right back.
It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done.